Happy Saturday. It's Dr. C. Welcome. So, we're going to do a quick live today. If you are on Instagram, I'm not sharing my screen, but everywhere else, I'm sharing my screen because I want to show you a couple of things. I'm going to give you a very quick rundown summary of the sessions in day 3, day 4, day 5, and day 6 of the Super Fertility Summit. I'm not going to add any commentary or color to talking about the sessions because I want to run through them really quickly so that you can see what you need and go in and take what you need. Okay. Because that's what it's there for. I can't believe that we are on day 5 of or we're going to be beginning day 5 in just a few hours of our Super Fertility Summit, which is 7 days long. So we go through Tuesday, July 29th. So if you're on other channels, LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, etc., in our Facebook group, The Art and Science of Getting Pregnant, you can see, first of all, that so far the Super Fertility Summit has reached 17,519 mamas, and that was the last time I checked. And something really incredible happened this morning, which is that CBS Chicago Health Watch broadcast shared the Super Fertility Summit this morning, which is so incredibly exciting. So I'm sure we've reached double that amount of people by this point. So thank you so much for CBS. Thank you so much, CBS News, for sharing our incredible labor of love, the Super Fertility Summit, which is happening during this historic week when Louise Joy Brown, the first test tube baby, as she's often referred to, but first IVF baby, was born 46 years ago, same month and year as I was born, by the way. I am 9 days older than her, I believe. So happy birthday again, Louise. I'm always celebrating you and the trailblazer you are and your mother was. And you want to know something really interesting about Louise's mom? And Louise was born in the UK, and Louise's mom used IVF because she had blocked fallopian tubes. And the reason why I'm mentioning that is because that's really what IVF was originally designed for, to be able to allow people who couldn't have egg and sperm meet in a natural way to create a situation where egg and sperm could meet outside of the body so that a baby could still be made. And this would often have to do with blocked fallopian tubes or other kinds of structural irregularities or structural or physical barriers to egg and sperm meeting. And the reason why I'm mentioning this is because that's what IVF was designed for, but it's rarely being used that way today. And that's why we see the success rates of IVF really struggling in the context of today, because today IVF is primarily or largely being used for people who are experiencing age-related fertility declines. And it wasn't designed for that. And so it's not able to meet that demand and that need very successfully or effectively. And that's why success rates get lower and lower as a woman gets older, 35 plus, 40 plus, 42 plus, and beyond. So a woman who is 42 or older, even after 6 cycles of IVF, only has a 4, I believe I have that right off the top of my head, a 4% chance of bringing home a baby, even after 6 cycles of IVF. Okay, so that just shows you that IVF was not designed for the way it's largely being used today. Thank goodness we have it, but we have to do our work in the trimester before going into either natural conception or IVF so that we can address our raw material, egg, sperm, uterus, and the full fertility system. There's no intervention to date, no technology to date that can do that for us. That's why we have to do it. So come to the Super Fertility Summit and learn everything you possibly can about this very thing. If you're worried about age, if you have PCOS or some other diagnosis, endometriosis, fibroids, if you have blocked fallopian tubes, if your partner has a low sperm count or poor sperm quality or some other form of male factor, infertility or fertility challenges, if you've had a child with a physical, mental, or neurocognitive health problem such as autism, and you want to know what you can do to ensure that you have a healthy child going forward, these are all reasons to come and join us in the Super Fertility Summit. So you can either go directly to fertilitypregnancy.org/class, CLASS, fertilitypregnancy.org/class. Or you can just comment me wherever you're watching, and we will send you the link. You can still have free access to the Super Fertility Summit through Tuesday, July 29th. All right, so let's keep going, everybody. Yes, mama, pregnancy safe cosmetics, not to mention toxins create oxidative stress and in turn harm egg quality and fragments the DNA of sperm. This is actually, so we talk a lot about toxic exposures and mold and so many other things in the Super Fertility Summit. Plastics, for example, microplastics, the kinds of products people are using on their skin, the kinds of things people are consuming, so many of these things. But I want to say something about sperm quality, which is sperm and semen analysis, which is what is used to most commonly assess male fertility. Tells you sperm count, volume, morphology, and motility. But it doesn't tell you about DNA fragmentation in sperm. And that's a really important issue. And as people get older, as males get older, there's more and more fragmentation. So just like there's an age effect on female fertility, there's also an age effect on male fertility. And in fact, some health problems in children are programmed epigenetically by the sperm and have an even bigger impact of the dad's age than the mama's age. So this Super Fertility Summit is for everybody, mamas, dadas, parents of all genders. If you wanted to have a baby yesterday, if you've been struggling to get and or stay pregnant, or you know that you just know that you want to be a mom, dad, or parent in the future. All right. So let's keep going. Let's do a quick overview. So if you're seeing my screen share, then you saw a little screenshot of the CBS Chicago news broadcast this morning about the Super Fertility Summit. And then just here are a couple notes that we've received. So one is from Dr. Susan Fox, who's part of the Super Fertility Summit. She's one of the experts, the fertility experts I interviewed. Her session was really incredible. We talk about red light therapy and also electrical stimulation on acupuncture points from home and other things that you can do from home. We also talk about the 5 elements in traditional Chinese medicine and how they correspond to emotions that can affect fertility and also to the different organs and systems in the body. It's a fascinating session. Make sure that you participate in that one. So she says, you did a lioness's job in putting this together. Thank you for including me in health, Dr. Susan. And it's true. This was a massive, heavy lift of our FPI team and hundreds of hours from our team, hundreds of hours from me alone, and then hundreds of hours from the Dr. Talks team, which is a pretty large team of almost 50. So I think it's 47 or 43 on that team. So this was a very heavy lift over 9 months, but it's something that we did with so much joy and excitement because we knew how many lives were going to be changed by this incredible event. There's never been anything like it, and I couldn't be more proud. And then here's from a note from a mama that we received. And it's been so incredible reading the messages from you, mamas, dadas, parents of all genders. Thank you so much for the incredible love notes, feedback, questions, like most, biggest aha moments, most mind-blowing moments that you've experienced thus far. We're eating them all up. I'm reading all of them. Here's just one sample. Yay, it's amazing. I have renewed hope. Thank you so much. You're so welcome, Mama. We love you so much. We're so excited for you. All right, so let me just give you a really quick. I'm just going to read through it because I want you to just be able to listen for a couple of minutes and see what you need and go in and take what you need. And this is my description of the session, so it's not just what you see on the website. But again, if you haven't registered yet, or you did register but you haven't gotten in there to dig into these sessions, you do not want to miss this. It's free through July 29th, which is Tuesday. So make sure you go in there and just soak up everything that's in there. So you can go to fertilitypregnancy.org/class, fertilitypregnancy.org/class, or just comment me on this post wherever you're watching, or as a third alternative, just head straight to the link in my bio on Instagram. You can find me there at Dr. Cleopatra, and then you can get your free access right away. All right. So here's our day 3 summary. Dr. Deanna Minnick, the greater than 12 species of maca, I believe it was 18 species of maca, and which ones to use for female fertility, male fertility, and other specific reproductive health challenges and other health challenges. She also talks about her own fertility journey and the use of art therapy. You are going to want to hear this session. It was incredible. Okay, I said I wasn't going to add commentary. I'll stop. Dr. Michael Karlfeldt, fertility and pregnancy with abnormal pap smear, HPV, which is the human papilloma virus, which is basically the common cold of sexual activity. Almost everybody who's ever been sexually active has been exposed to the HPV virus, or to HPV, and other infections, including sexually transmitted infections. And now Instagram's probably going to flag this post as inappropriate, even though I'm talking about something really important, because I said sexually transmitted infections. Okay. And then fertility after cervical cancer and fertility after cancer treatment in general. Then Dr. Terry Walls, how improving your fertility can prevent future health problems, including very severe conditions like multiple sclerosis and other autoimmune conditions. She talks about her own journey with infertility and multiple sclerosis, and says, if I had met someone like you when I was trying to get pregnant, then I may have been able to prevent what ended up becoming multiple sclerosis. Just an amazing session. Also, getting pregnant with an autoimmune disorder, whether that's Hashimoto's thyroiditis, which is very common, or other autoimmune disorders. Dr. Catherine Zagoni, she shares about a tool to find out exactly how old your fertility is, and Clockwise is gifting one lucky Super Fertility Summit winner a fertility age test worth $500, and the winner is going to be randomly selected from the registrant list. So make sure that you do your free registration at fertilitypregnancy.org/class so you can be entered to win a Clockwise test. It's really incredible. Dr. Amy Horniman, wow, was this session powerful. Everything you need to know to make sure your thyroid can support a healthy pregnancy and a healthy child, and her stepson's story and how to make sure you don't have to suffer the way that she and her husband and stepson do. Dr. Ann Shippey, symptoms of mold exposure and effects of mold exposure on male and female fertility. Dr. Steven Sidoroff, using the growth mindset in fertility and parenting and feeling worthy of the life you want, including of your baby. Then there's the mini course with me, the reasons why women don't get pregnant and what to do about them. So the primary reasons that are responsible for women not getting pregnant and what you do about them. All right, let's move on to day 4. Dr. Mark Sklar, 5 things you can do right now to improve your fertility and how to make space for conception. And this isn't what you think, and it's really good. Dr. Izabella Wentz, what you need to know to get and stay pregnant with Hashimoto's and hypothyroidism, and how thyroid antibodies harm a woman's eggs by getting into the follicles and creating damage, increasing the risk of infertility and miscarriage, and what you can do about it if you have a thyroid disorder, or you think you do because you have symptoms of thyroid disorder, including missing the outer third of your eyebrows, or being very thin, or having a really hard time managing your weight, having a hard time managing your body temperature, cold hands and feet, etc. Kate Northrup, the relationship between money, time, and your fertility, and the fertile versus infertile central nervous system. Dr. Kayla Smith, tackling unexplained infertility, and is there really such a thing as a fertility diet? And if so, what is it? Dr. Nicholas Pino, how EMFs, including Wi-Fi, affect your and your partner's fertility, and taking baby steps to reduce EMF exposure in a saturated world. Deanna Hansen, wow, you have never heard anything like this before. The never before heard role of fascia in healthy fertility and pregnancy, and pairing fascia release and breathing for better fertility. Dr. William Pollock, PEMF Innovations for Fertility and the Role of Inflammation in Problems Getting and Staying Pregnant, and bigger health problems as well, larger health problems as well. And then there's a mini course with me on this. There are mini courses with me every single day of the summit. These are bite-sized and they really dive into the problems and the solutions right there and then. So understanding why miscarriage happens and the most effective strategies for reducing miscarriage risk based on the primary mechanisms leading to miscarriage in the first place. Day 5. This is starting soon. We're starting day 5 today at 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern time. So we're just a little over an hour away right now. So on day 5, we have 2 of Instagram's most popular pediatricians, Dr. Joel Gator and Dr. Elisa Song, who just published her book, Healthy Kids, Happy Kids. And we're going to hear from both of them about their books and about the things that they recommend for preconception and for having healthy families and healthy children. So Dr. Gator, taking care of your preconception health and your children's health in the simplest ways possible, and the role of dads and male fertility in pregnancy preparation in the trimester, as we call it. Dr. Elisa Song, passing down bugs to your children for lifelong health and how to improve your gut health and microbiome for stronger fertility. Dr. Susan Fox, red light therapy for egg quality, electrical stimulation of acupuncture points at home for better fertility. Dr. Christina Bjorndal, protecting against intergenerational stress and trauma, and her personal story of birth, adoption, and her resolve to not die by suicide in this lifetime. This is a must hear. Kim West, aka the Sleep Lady, conquering new mom sleep deprivation fears in order to unlock your fertility and preparing for healthy infant sleep during the last trimester of pregnancy. Then there's the mini course with me for the day. Is it just too late to have a baby? How can you rewind your biological clock even in your 30s, 40s, and beyond? And we're so excited, so beyond excited, that we will have at the Fertility and Pregnancy Institute in the Trimester Protocol our very first 51-year-old mama giving birth in 2025. Yes, using her own egg and her husband's sperm, thanks to amazing preparation, what we did together when she was 44, coming to have her first super baby girl with us, whom she had her first super baby girl with us. She has an older daughter, which she had at 45 years old, and now she'll be having a third daughter at 51 years old, which we're so excited about. All right, super baby girl on the way. All right, day 6 summary, which will be starting tomorrow at 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern time. Dr. Lindsay Matthews, mentally preparing for your dream birth, and her personal story of miscarriage, conceiving naturally, and giving birth in her 40s, including how, listen to this, how she needed to feed her body more and move her body differently, including a little bit less. And then there's Dr. Marisa Snyder, trusting your body and not taking on the fear of others about pregnancy at 35 plus, let alone 40 plus, and her personal story of choosing to trimester for an entire year in her 40s to conceive and make her super baby with a history of hormonal imbalances in her 20s and 30s, Hashimoto's, and miscarriage. Then we have Rebecca Curry talking about AI-powered fertility decisions and vetting resources like the Primester Protocol so that women have access to their full range of options and a very balanced view of their full range of options so that no one is encouraging them in one direction or another. They can make balanced, objective decisions for what's best for them. Then we have Doctors Kara Burkhart and Hillary Fredrickson. They're talking about the overlooked link between hydration and egg quality, as well as how to soften into your process even just the tiniest bit to allow space for conception. This was really a theme across many of the talks, allowing space for conception. And in these discussions, I also introduced to the public for the very first time the shocking truth of the infertile personality type, why it happens, especially to women today, what to do about it in order to be able to be in a more fertile central nervous system and receive your super baby. Then we have Geeta Sidhu Rob, who's talking about why fertility and pregnancy success require your feminine power and why she wants her daughters to freeze their eggs at 25. Nicole Jardam, aka the Period Girl, is talking about how to understand the patterns in how you feel, think, behave, and react at different times in your menstrual cycle, and why hormonal birth control is a dangerous band-aid for period problems, especially when use began in young adulthood. Then we have Danica Braisha talking about her daily self-care and trimester checklists and how she uses them to be a happier, healthier, more confident mama, as well as her story of conceiving her two super baby girls, Billy and Sunny, with such low AMH that she was told that she had the fertility of a woman in her 40s, even though she was in her, actually, when she got that diagnosis, she was in her early 30s. I have mid to late 30s here in the write-up, which is incorrect. She ended up having her super baby girls in her mid and late 30s, but her diagnosis she received in her early 30s. Okay. That she had the fertility of someone in their 40s. Then there's a mini course again with me, why egg and sperm quality are the foundation for pregnancy success and for having a super baby, and how to produce better eggs in upcoming ovulation. And then if you're watching on the shared screen, you see a picture of FPI Primester Mama, Dr. Marisa Snyder, who herself is a women's health and hormone expert and primestered for a year prior to getting pregnant with this delicious boy, super baby boy, Kingston Carter, and his daddy there too. All right, so good to be with you today. That's a roundup of the last couple of days, what's starting today. And I will be back to see you again tomorrow. Make sure that if you haven't gotten into the Super Fertility Summit yet, jump over there at fertilitypregnancy.org/class. Enjoy. May these sessions bless you and your super babies and your family endlessly and give you renewed hope, really bring you down to be grounded and centered and to know what's possible for your perfect body and the perfect timing of your life and the perfect timing of making your super baby. So I'll see you inside the Super Fertility Summit. Thanks so much for joining me here today. I'll see you again tomorrow.